Welcome to House Street Rounders. We are a new website here, and what we like to do is we like to do a roundup of sort of company news that's happening in the venture exchange, as well as we like to select and highlight some companies that we find interesting. Now, before we select companies like Yankee Hat Minerals, which we posted as April of 2012, we like to dive in some preliminary selection questions before we actually select a company. We go through their financial statements, we look up any concerning line items, and then we basically, put some relevant information for you investors to actually take a look at. So, typical preliminary selection questions is, we'll look at the 3-year chart. It's pretty negative. We'll look at the last year chart. It's pretty negative. We'll look at, more importantly, when was the last time they have done something operational. So that's pertaining to, exploration activities. These are venture exchange stocks that are focused on building value through resources and mining those resources, or hopefully mining those resources at some point in time. We then tie that into their financial statements, where we'll be taking a look at their expenses. We'll take a look at if we believe the company is, spending righteously. If this company, for example, last pertaining news release to any actual exploration update was May 4th of 2011. So for those people who can do math, that's 11 months where they have done basically nothing when it comes to exploration activities. Uh, so the financial statements on how much money they're spending is pretty important to us, as well as we also look if they've consolidated their stock. Most people don't like consolidations. They tend to be stories that we like to look at just because they're interesting stories and they have some things that should be noted upon. So I'll save the rest of that later. You guys will sort of see how this pans out as we go through. So first, let's take a look at the 3-year chart. It's pretty choppy. I'm just going to let you guys know it's not actually in the dollar ranges. This is because the company has gone through a 25 to 1 consolidation of shares. So you have to divide all these prices hypothetically by 25 to actually get their true value. As you can see, a negative trend. We'll take a look at the 1-year chart. Again, a negative trend. You'll see when it stops getting choppy, it gets a little bit more liquid. That's when the consolidation happens. So the consolidation happened about here. We'll get the exact date later on. So first highlight on the financial statements of Yankee Hat Minerals on their latest balance sheet, and it was January 31st, 2012. We came to a very concerning line item. This is their balance sheet. We highlighted what we thought was very concerning. They have $1,072,000 worth of liabilities. So even if this company is going through, say, restructuring and it's going to get financed, that $1,000,000 is going to have to come off the books somehow, whether it be through the issue of shares, or you got to raise, say, $2,000,000 and $1,000,000 is going to liabilities or something of the rather. So that's a concerning line item. Second concerning line items is basically their income statements. It's called the condensed interim statements of comprehensive loss. This is an income statement. These are their expenses. We highlight particular things that we find interesting about this company. So for those who are unfamiliar with income statements, we have 6 months ended, 3 months ended. So this is basically the 6 months from their year end, and this is the 3 months for the current quarter. We're going to focus on the 6 months. So 4 line items we highlight. We could highlight a 5th one, which is the office and miscellaneous, but we just don't, because every company that's on the venture exchange should have an office. So there are some fair, typical static overhead, office space, internet connection, things they have to have, period, to even operate. So we focus on consulting line items. You can see here in the last 6 months ended for 2012, they spent $17,000 on consulting fees. We don't know where those go. They also have an interesting line item, professional fees. I'm not really too sure what that means. Could mean lawyers, could mean accountants, but nonetheless, they spent $23,000 in the last 6 months in professional fees. And more importantly, salaries. They've incurred $96,000 worth of salaries. For a company that hasn't really done anything in the last 11 months, which would include the 6 months ended January 31st, that's a little bit interesting. What's even more interesting is that in the last 6 months, they actually incurred $240,000 worth of salaries. So if you extrapolate that and you times that by two, hypothetically, it'd be anywhere between $480,000. But that's just extrapolating. You need to take a look at their financial statements to actually see what they earned throughout the entire year. We may make a second video to actually touch base on that. So company hasn't done anything for 11 months. They're incurring $96,000 worth of salaries. Interesting. We don't really have much to comment on that. The last thing that we took a look at the financial statements, we always take a look at these, is related party transactions. For those who are unfamiliar with related party transactions, they're typically people who are living in the same household or have a direct relation with an insider of the company, so there's your directors, officers, etc. They have $280,000 worth of, debt that's owed to related parties. Again, interesting. That's a lot to be paid out. That's basically 30% of the liabilities itself. And so if you take a look, in our financial summary, we basically sum up what we think are interesting points that you as investors should be considering when you take a look at this company. Is that one, they have $1 million in liabilities. So again, in the future, if they need to finance, they're going to have to pay off those liabilities. Two, they have over $280,000 due to related parties. Again, an interesting note. They have $96,000 expensed towards salary. So to break that down, that's $16,000 a month in the last 6 months in salaries alone. So, that could be one person earning $16,000 a month. That could be two people earning $8,000 a month. That's a lot for a company that basically hasn't done anything in the last 11 months. Now, if you include basically all the professional fees and consulting items and not including the overhead, you're looking at $23,000 a month. Again, a lot of money that's going out or being expensed on a line item that, for a company that's being inactive, you think they attempt to bootstrap a little bit more. So news releases the last 12 months. Again, we noted that on May 4th of last year, it was basically their last news release. It's also seen on their website, which hasn't been updated at all. And basically, none of their other news releases, such as their MD&As, are on their website at all. So, it's an interesting company. That's why we selected it up to be highlighted on our website. So, conclusion notes. Last known update from exploration activities was May 4th of 2011. Again, the liabilities are a very big concern. More importantly, they had a 25-to-1 share consolidation as of March 2012. The last concerning thing that you investors should take a look at is in their latest financials, they have $233 in the bank account. So, probably a lot of questions going through your head. If you are a stock owner of the Yankee Hat, then you probably have a lot of questions. We've provided their contact information here below. And hope you guys enjoyed our little highlights of this company, and look forward to talking to you guys again. Cheers.